City are back in the Premier League, but who will join them? We'll take a little look next. Right, folks, back once again with another prediction show today. We're taking a look at match day number, 43 over in the Championship, but we'll get to that in just one second. If you're new, smash your subscribe and keep banging today with all things Championship related, Rovers related, everything else related. We're all here on No One Rooski. Of course, folks, we're trying to keep the prediction shows nice and tight this week because, of course, it is double match week across Europe. So, of course, my time is very, very limited. You will not see the leaderboard for the Championship this week, or you'll not see your picks either. We'll bring them back probably not next week, not midweek, probably next week with an updated, fully updated leaderboard. But until then, though, we're going to jump right in the deep end and take a look at the other scores and my picks. And, of course, we're going to kick it on with the next round of matches, of course, because we got no time. So here we bloody go, kicking all off with, of course, red hot Rotherham who are just piling out the games at the moment, and it is starting to catch up with them in a very, very nasty way. They did play Coventry in the end, and they lost 1-0. That was, of course, back on Thursday, April 15th. One to go from Leo Ostegard giving Coventry the win, and it looks like this could be Rotherham's. They're slipping out chances, of course. Meanwhile, the big winners though were Rovers on Friday, the 16th of April, 2-1 win over Derby County. Tom Ross giving Derby the lead. Sam Gallagher and Harvey Elliott wrapped it up the points though for Rovers at long last. It looks like we're going to be stuck in the Championship once again. Happy days. 2-0 for me. Happy days. Meanwhile, Reading, they drew with Cardiff also on Friday. Wycombe, Kiefer Moore on the score sheet. 2 late goals there as either side flattered with something there. 2-1 for me, not too bad. Brentford 0-0 against Millwall, nothing to report there. Middlesbrough, of course, lost to QPR. Goals from Robert Dickey, Lee Wallace as well. Yannick Bolasie getting a goal as well with Timothy Stang himself sent off for QPR in a big old, apparently a good game in the end. 2-1 win for QPR, 1-0 win for Middlesbrough for me. Luton Town did beat Watford 1-0. I actually went with a 2-2 draw. I thought they'd get something out of it. James Constable from Sport giving them the win. Kiko Fenomena get himself sent off for Watford to make matters worse in the end. Nottingham Forest, they did lose to Huddersfield, as of course they kicked into top gear. Adam Rowe and Junior Bakuna giving them the win as well. Meanwhile, Sheffield Wednesday and Bristol City could only muster a draw, 1-1 in the end. A couple of late goals in that one. Julian Bowman with an early goal for, of course, Sheffield Wednesday. Tariq Beckinson getting the goal for Bristol City late. For them, of course, Henry Lansby also got himself sent off in a 1-1 draw. I called it what folks called it. Meanwhile, Stoke against North End, and it was a 0-0 draw, nothing to report there. Swansea 2, Wycombe Wanderers 2, big win that fell, a big point really for Wycombe, even though it doesn't really amount for much. They could have won it though, right at the death. And Admiral Muskuski and Gareth McCooley on the score sheet giving Wycombe a 2-0 lead before Jamal Lowe penalty spot and Liam Cullen as well, giving Swansea a share of the spoils in the end. And meanwhile, Norwich did lose, but it doesn't really matter. They're over the line with a 3-1 win over Bournemouth, of course. 3-1 loss. Sam Sturridge, Grunewald and Lloyd Kelly getting the goals for Bournemouth. Melaway Bawinda giving them the lead, and before Dimitris Granulius get himself sent off though in a bit of an Action Stations game. Meanwhile, Rotherham against Birmingham also with a 1-0 win for Birmingham. Of course, they've kicked in top gear with Bowyer in charge. Harley Dean with the one and only goal there, 88th minute. I went with the 1-1 draw, and Coventry did beat Barnsley, which caused them a bit of a problem as well. They might not hang on. I'm worried now for Barnsley. They're just hanging on. They've got a 4-point cushion at the moment over Reading, but they need to win the next game. Dominic Hyam and Matt Gooden on score sheet giving Coventry back-to-back wins, and of course they're flying up the table right here, right now. Let's take a look at, of course, the table. And right here, right now, this is what the situation is right here. Again, I'm flying off the seat of my pants right here, right now. Of course, Norwich are top, and they'll be top no matter what. Of course, Watford and Swansea, a bit of a gap still. What is it? 6 points between Watford and Swansea. Brentford, Bournemouth, Barnsley make up your top 6 with Reading. Realistically, the only team that could make or break them. Of course, Wycombe has Sheffield Wednesday and Rotherham going down right here, right now. But of course, Rotherham still have 2 games in hand on the likes of Derby, and they win those, and they could get sucked into it. But of course, we'll take a look at the next round of matches right here, right now. We'll take a look at yours, of course, in a couple of days' time, probably a week or so. Anyways, to kick it all off with Brentford up against Coventry. But Brentford up against Cardiff, taking place on, of course, Tuesday the 20th of April. Played the last 6 2 wins for Brentford, 3 for Cardiff, 1 draw. The last round in Brentford was a 2-1 win for Brentford. Back in, of course, December 2019, Mbembo and Watkins on the score sheet. Marlon Pack get the goal for, of course, Cardiff back in the day. Also played though this season down in Wales. I was on Boxing Day 2020, of course. Cardiff were losing 3-2 win for Brentford in the end. Brentford have actually drawn the last 5 of the last 6 matches in the Championship. They've also kept a clean sheet in the last 3 matches as well. They're coming into this with that just 1 win. In fact, with that just 1 win in the past 6 games for Brentford. That was a 5-0 win over Preston. Meanwhile, just 1 win in the past 6 games for Cardiff. That was against Swansea, of course, as their season has now fallen very, very flat. Look at the bookies are 6-4 on for Brentford, 11-4 is your 17-4 is your Cardiff. Cardiff coming to this. Where are you, Cardiff? You're all the way down to 8th, but a win for them. They could close in on 7th. As for Brentford, they are in 4th, and a win for them. They could actually go above Swansea into 3rd. Is it too little too late for Brentford? I think they'll get the win though, but I think it might be, yes, like I said, too little too late for the automatics. Next, of course, we have the Canaries. Party mode up against Watford, of course. First up against a second. A win for Watford gets them right back into it for automatics. Of course, a defeat would put them in the rat's nest. Players of the last 6, 2 wins for Norwich, 4 for Watford, no draws last time around. Carrow is a 2-win for Watford back in the Premier League, of course, back in November 2019. Defolavu and Gray on the scholarship with Christian Kalabasi get himself sent off. Also, players of this is in Vicarage Road back in Boxing Day was a 1-0 win for Watford. In fact, Watford actually won the last 3 out of these 2 sides in all competitions, all venues. Watford actually talked about that. Heading into this, both the sides coming into this on the back of a defeat. Of course, Watford losing to Luton. Of course, the Norwich losing to, of course, Bournemouth. But it doesn't really matter. They're in party mode, even if they go up as champions or not. Anyway, 5-4 on is your Norwich, 23-10 is your draw, 20-10 is your Watford. Watford coming to in second, and for them they could close it in or first. And of course, the title is still up for grabs for as long as that lasts. When for Norwich, of course, doesn't really do anything for them. But I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw, point split right in the middle, which probably favours Brentford. Next, of course, Preston up against Derby County, who are in a bit of trouble right now. Plays of the last 6, of course, 2 wins for Preston, 3 for Derby, 1 draw last time around. For Preston was a 1-0 win for Derby. Back in, of course, July 2020 in lockdown. Of course, also plays this season at Pride Park. It was a 1-0 win on Boxing Day for Preston. So they keep flip-flopping around these two teams. Derby keep a clean sheet in the last 4 away matches against Preston in all comps. They've also lost 6 of the last 7 away matches as well. Preston have actually failed to score in 5 of the last 7 matches in the Championship as well. Nailed on draw. Looks like 3 defeats on the spin for Derby though. Losing to Reading, losing to Norwich, of course, losing to Rovers. Who loses to Rovers? As for Preston, just 1 win in the past 6 games. That was against Swansea at the start of April. Look at the bookies odds on this one. We have Preston, of course, 11-8 for the victory, 9-4 is your draw. 2-1 is your Derby. Derby coming to this in 21st. A win for them. They can close it in on 20th. As for Preston, they're actually in 17th. A win for them. They can move up to 14th in the table. For me, I'm going to go with a North End win on this one. 1-0 win in the end. Derby are in trouble. Next up, of course, Sheffield Wednesday up against Blackburn Rovers, of course. Played to the last 6, 2 wins for Sheffield Wednesday, 3 for Rovers, 1 draw last time around. Of course, at Sheffield Wednesday was a 5-0 win for Rovers back in the day. That was January 2020. Holtby with a brace. Cameron Dawson, the big fat OG Darrell Lennon, and Sam G on the score sheet. Of course, Massimiliano Luongo got himself sent off. Also, played to this season at Hillsborough was a 1-1 draw back in Boxing Day. Of course, that's when all shit hit the fan. Just 2 defeats in about 6 games for Rovers. I'm saying it like that. Of course, losing to Wycombe, losing to Bournemouth, of course. A lot of draws knocking around for the Rovers. As for Sheffield Wednesday, without just 1 win in the past 5 games, that was against Cardiff at Hillsborough, of course. Look at the bookies odds on this one. Sheffield Wednesday coming into this 50-8 for the victory, 7-5 is your Rovers, 23-10 is your draw. Sheffield Wednesday are running 23rd. And for them, they can move up to 22nd. As for Rovers, they are actually in 15th. And for them, they can move up to 14th in the end. I'm going with my boys. 2-1 win in the end. I'm doing it. Of course, we'll do a match preview. And of course, a watch along on Tuesday. So come by and watch that with me as we try to make it back-to-back wins for the first time in probably 50 years. Of course, Swansea up against QPR. Plays for the last 6, 3 wins for Swansea, 2 for QPR, 1 draw last time around in Wales. Of course, was a February 2020 0-0 draw in the end. Also, plays for those at Boxing Day at Loftus Road. It was a 2-0 win for Swansea. Of course, Swansea have kept a clean sheet in 7 last 9 matches at home against QPR in all comps. Swansea also keep undefeated in the last 9 matches against QPR in all competitions as well. Also scoring, though, 2 goals in the last 3 matches as well. When the Championship becoming to this unbeaten the last 3, picking up 2 wins and a draw to boot. As for QPR, 3 wins and 2 defeats the past 5 games have them a bit hot and cold. Of course, you don't know what you're going to get. Look at the bookies odds on this one. Swansea 11-10 on for the victory, 25 is draw, 60-5 is your QPR. QPR coming into this, of course, in 10th, and with them they can move up to 8th. Goodness gracious me. As for Swansea, they're 3rd. With them they can close in on 2nd. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for Swansea on this one. No pain, no gain. Of course, moving the chains. Of course, next, of course, Millwall up against Bournemouth. Played the last 6, 2 wins for Millwall, 2 for Bournemouth, and 2 draws last round. And Millwall was a 3-0 win for Millwall. That was in the FA Cup in 2017. Last time played though in the league in Millwall was a 2-0 win for Bournemouth back in, of course, 2014. That was back in 28th of December 2014. Kermanat on the screen with Harry Arter as well. Sean Williams got himself sent off. Also played though this season at Bournemouth. It was a 1-1 draw back in January 2021. Solanke and Matt Smith on the score sheet. Bournemouth are winning their last 6 matches in the Championship. Millwall actually winning 7 of the last 8 home matches against Bournemouth in all competitions as well. Heading into this though, Bournemouth 5 wins on the spin, beating likes of Borough, Rovers, Coventry, Huddersfield and Norwich. As for Millwall, just back-to-back games without a win, losing the likes of Swansea and picking up a draw against Brentford. As for the bookies odds on this one, Millwall coming into this, what are we looking at? 14-5 for the extra 25 is draw. Even Stevens is your Bournemouth. Bournemouth coming to this in 5th, and with them they can move up to 3rd. As for Millwall, they're in 9th, and with them they can go up to 8th, and of course a bit of a strong finish for them. I'm actually going with a 1-0 win for Millwall on this one to surprise us all, and of course a bit of a rat's nest for Bournemouth in the end. Next, of course, Rotherham up against Middlesbrough, even last time around, last 6, 2 wins for Rotherham, 3 for Middlesbrough, 1 draw last time around in Rotherham. It was a 2-1 win for Middlesbrough back in May 29. Of course, Britt Asamoah Jeremy Onemy Beckwell as well. Michael Smith getting the goal for Rotherham back in the day. Also, a pleasure though this season at the Riverside was a 3-0 win for Rotherham back in January this season. That was Warnock against Warnock back in the day. Of course, Rotherham losing 7 last 8 home matches in the Championship. Whereas Middlesbrough actually lost their 4 matches on the road as well. Coming into this, Middlesbrough actually shitcast form without a win in 5. As for Rotherham, just 1 win in the past 6 games. That was against QPR quite a few games back now. As for the bookies, odds on this one, Rotherham at 7-4 for the victory, 64 is your better odds, 23-10 is your draw. Rotherham are actually in trouble, 22nd spot at the moment, but win for them, they can close it in on Derby. As for Middlesbrough, they're 11th, and win for them, they can move up to 8th. Again, too little, too late there for them, the top 6. Going on with a draw on this one would probably favour Borough, more than it does Rotherham. Next, of course, Wycombe Wanderers up against Bristol City, played to the last 6. 2 for Wycombe, 3 for Bristol, 1 draws. Last time around in Wycombe was the one in the league. Was bloody hell, all the way back to 2003. It was a 3-0 win for Wycombe. Holligan with a couple of goals there, McSporran as well. Doherty getting the goal, going to get himself sent off for Bristol City. Last time around, though, this season, it was 2-1 for Bristol City back in Boxing Day this season. Bristol City have actually failed to win their last 6 matches in the Championship. They're coming to this back-to-back draws for them. As for Wycombe, just 1 defeat in the past 5. That 1 defeat was against Luton, which of course puts a rat's nest in them. Of course, heading into this one, Wycombe coming into this, what are we looking at? 90-10 for the victory, 13-10 is your Bristol City, 5-2 is your draw. Bristol City coming to this all the way down to 14th, but a win for them, they can close it in on 13th. As for Wycombe, they're in 24th. A win for them, they can move up to 23rd in the table. I'm going with the 2-1 for Wycombe. Of course, they're fighting right now. They're scrapping for every single point. Next, of course, Stoke City up against Coventry City. Let's take a look at this one then, shall we? Played to the last 6, 2 wins apiece, 2 draws last time around. Of course, it's a Stoke victory. It was played in Stoke, 3-1 win for Coventry back in November 2007. Goodness gracious me. Goals coming from Michael Misford with a couple of goals. Adelia Adebola as well. Liam Lawrence getting the one to go for Stoke. Also played this season down at St James's Park. Of course, it was a new draw for Coventry this season. Stoke keeping clean sheet in 6 of the last 8 matches at home. Coming into this, though, back-to-back wins for Coventry. In fact, 3 wins in the past 4 games. The only hiccup was a defeat against Bournemouth. Meanwhile, 3 games without a win for Stoke, losing the likes of Millwall, Birmingham, of course, picking up a draw against Preston just the other day. No bookies odds on this one, but a win for Stoke in, of course, 12th. They could go all the way up to 9th. As for Coventry, they're in 18th, but a win for them, they can move up to 14th. Goodness gracious me. I think Stoke will nick this one with a 1-0 win in the end. Birmingham City taking, of course, Nottingham Forest, of course, form team. Birmingham at the moment, played to the last 6, 2 wins apiece, 2 draws, of course, last round. And Birmingham was a 2-1 win for Birmingham back in February 2020. Goals coming from Scott Hogan, Christian Pedersen as well. Thiago Silva getting the 1 and go for, of course, Forest back in the day. Also, pleasure this season down at City Ground was a 0-0 draw on Boxing Day. Birmingham keeping a clean sheet in the last 4 matches in the Championship, and they've also won 4 the last 3 home matches as well. They come into this just 1 defeat past 6. That 1 defeat was against Watford. Meanwhile, just 1 defeat past 5 for Forest. That 1 defeat was against Huddersfield just the other day. Look at the bookies odds on this one. Birmingham coming at you. Of course, 30-10 for the Richies, 25 is draw, 2-1 is your Forest. Of course, Forest coming to this in 16th, but a win for them, they can move up to 14th. As for Birmingham, they're in 19th, and a win for them, they can move also up to as high as 14th in the end. I think Birmingham will nick this one with a 2-0 win in the end. Huddersfield up against Barnsley, of course, bit of a north-east crash this one, or Yorkshire Fair. Last 6, of course, 3 wins for Huddersfield, 2 for Barnsley, 1 draw. Last round in Huddersfield was a 2-1 win for Huddersfield back in October 2019. Goals from Christopher Schindler, Carlin Grant as well, Jacob Brown on the score sheet for, of course, Barnsley back in the day. Also played the Ad Oko this season back in Boxing Day. It was 2-1 win for Barnsley. Michael Hillich with a couple of goals there as well. With Romani Edwards Green on the score sheet for Huddersfield as they lost. Of course, Huddersfield have actually won the last 3 home matches against Barnsley in all comps. They come into this, though, just 1 win in the past 6 games for Huddersfield. That 1 was against Nottingham Forest. Meanwhile, just 1 defeat in the past 4 for Barnsley. That was against Coventry just the other day. Look at the bookies odds on this one. Huddersfield coming at you 23-10 for the Rich, 11-10 is your Barnsley, 12-5 is your draw. Barnsley are in 6th, and win for them, they can move up to 4th. As for Huddersfield, they're all the way down to 20th, but a win for them, they can move up to 15th. That's where Rovers are right here, right now. I'm going to go with that on this one, a 1-1 draw, which won't really give anybody smiles, I think. A bit of a sour on that one. Next up, of course, or should I say finally, Luton up against Reading down at Kenilworth Road. Played for the last 6, 2 with Luton, 4 for Reading, no draws. Last time around in the league, Luton was a 5-0 win for Reading back in, of course, July 2020. Yuka Mighty with a hat-trick, George Pushkas as well. Actually, Mighty got himself 4 goals that day. Also played for this season, of course, in the Matchday, gives a 2-1 win for Reading. They also played though Kenilworth Road in the FA Cup, and Luton came out top with a 1-0 win. Of course, back-to-back wins for Luton. Beat the likes of Wycombe, beating the likes of Watford as well. Meanwhile, just 1 win in the past 6 games for Reading. Have them flapping around. Of course, they still got a bit of hope for, of course, the top 6. 2-1 though is your odds for Luton. Of course, 30-10 is your Reading. 12-5 is your draw. Reading are actually in 7th, and win for them, they can close it in on 6th. Of course, Luton all the way down to 13th, but a win for them, they can move up to 9th. I'm going to go with, on this one, 2-1 for Luton, which will probably put a big old kibosh into Reading's playoff dreams. That's all I've got for you today, folks, though. Of course, be sure to get your picks in nice early. We are crowning them in this week, so make sure you get them in early. And, of course, we'll do it all again very soon. And I'll bring you up to date eventually with, of course, the leaderboards, your picks and all that. You won't miss a beat. We'll do, of course, week by week with reels. You know what I mean. But until then, give the video some love, smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe, and I'll see you all next time for some more Pickaroo.